Alrighty, so welcome back to another Sunday breakdown. It's your boy Juicy Banks, and as y'all guys know, each and every week I kind of give my pre-outline of the market so that way you guys, the traders, can have a great week if your analysis agrees the same as mine. So that's what we'll be doing today in this video. Just FYI, remember to use risk management, follow your trading plan, and make sure you're using risk management. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it all comes down to. But let's go to the land of the charts. We're gonna kind of actually start off this breakdown with jumping right into GJ. So let's switch to it. Alrighty, so here we are in the land of the charts, and as I can see, these are basically all the trades that I've taken, right? Like I've taken like a numerous amount of trades over the past month or so, and you can see like they're all highlighted, and you can see I've been buying and getting stopped out all type of places, but predominantly I win the battles that I take, is what I'm trying to say, right? So you see all the battles over here, 1-1-1-1-1. You can see, all right, 1-1-1-1-1, one these, stopped out, 1-1-1-1-1. So yes. So here we are, fast forward to our market. We go from the daily time frame, and the market has actually retested these lows. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, let's kind of backtrack and let's kind of clean up these charts a little bit. I still want to leave my wins on there for sure, but I kind of want to just clean up to where it's nice and sexy charts. So let me just kind of do that real quick. Let's delete that fib. Let's delete some of these zones. And I think we should be good. Obviously, this trend line ended up breaking. So obviously price ended up dropping like it's hot. That point A, that point B, we end up dropping. We end up crashing into this zone. And you can see predominantly that we end up like bottoming out right here. So let's kind of go to the weekly time frame. Now, in my eyes, it's a couple things that can happen, right? And just in all honesty, keep in mind, news can never really taint the higher time frames in my perspective. So because of that, I'm just looking at these overall areas of support and resistance used as supply and demand as of these major rejection areas on this higher time frame scale. And just based on the area that I see, yes, we rejected and we dropped or whatever the case may be, but we have to remember that was due to influence. So when trading, GJ or any pair predominantly, when it comes to, economical situations, which we'll go over and we'll cover, the economical situations for this week so we can see, it is going to shift the markets, but the markets always correct itself. The more and more the same style of news kind of comes out, at least with currencies, in my experience, depending on how bad, they manipulate price or whatever the case may be, we could go ahead and be able to kind of dig deeper as far as for what's going on, and we'd be able to see it. So give me 1 second. Let me this. All right, cool. So here we are, really and truly on the weekly time frame. Obviously, this is a big candle we dropped. We've been rejecting, whatever the case may be. Where you have these support levels or support areas that I'm looking at, right? To where price can actually break. And, once price kind of breaks right here, it's just like, all right, cool. So just kind of looking at that, and we'll highlight that more on the daily because the daily was what kind of rejected out in this overall area. We dropped pretty low. We dropped to 187,500, which is basically these equal lows. And then we started to reject, and you can see the huge rejection candle signifying that, sellers are exhausted in the current trend and in the current market. So what I want to do a little bit more in details, I want to just be able to clean this up a little bit more so we don't have as much clutter, so that way we could really fixate on what we see as far as market structure goes. So starting from the daily time frame, right, we could obviously see we're in some style of uptrend still, to where we're still maintaining higher highs and higher lows are still being maintained, right? But then we broke, right? Or what we did is we appeared to break right around here. So let me delete these little itty bitty zones in between. We don't need you. We don't need you anymore. The only thing we need is what we targeted. So deleting some of these zones, you'll be able to just be able to see like the retest area. Hold up. I think I deleted something I needed. Oh no, I didn't. Cool. So going down to like our analyzing time frames, which is really like the 12-hour and below, you can see here that we kind of rejected and also found support at this common area for this retest right around here, where I have this yellow zone. You can see I drew it basically from body to wick, and I stretched it across. And you can see overall we're rejecting this area. We did come down low, but we settled on this area. So because price is currently settling around here, once we go down to the lower time frames, we'll be able to kind of dig deeper as far as what we see. But we could say the 189.250 is an area to where price is definitely settling from. And we can definitely go long from here again and get this retest of up here at 192. So we're looking at some pips as of right now, unless we get more tariff news. Kind of looking at the 8 hour, pretty similar to structure, to trend, to everything that we see. We are, however, able to see the details a little bit more. So what I want to do is, and this is why I kind of keep these green eclipses. They kind of just help me see the market structure on some of these analyzing time frames, which, you know, is key and it's ideal, so you that way you just don't get lost in the sauce when it comes to this beautiful thing called trend, right? Because it's so easy to get lost if you don't know what you're doing, right? And kind of just looking at these, again, these retest areas and kind of just understanding them, where price is going to reject. You can see 9 times out of 10 where we're rejecting or where we're finding support is at a previous higher high or some type of previous market structure area. So just keep that in mind, right? But my main thing is this. You see this area right around here where I have this big fat yellow zone that predominantly should be like around a little bit tighter. Somewhere like around here on this time frame. I'm expecting a retest back up in this area, like around the 192 to the 191 area, from all the way from 189, which means we got to go through all the 190s and then all the 191s and so on and so forth. Going down a little bit more deeper, right? We see the structure, and I want to kind of change it to black so it kind of pops out a little bit. Let me kind of do that. Bam. So now it pops out a little bit more. You can see here that we have some rejection areas here, but predominantly we broke and we never retested here. We just dropped. So yeah, guys, if I don't know how market structure works, I want to kind of alleviate y'all real quickly. Market structure works to where we break, we retest, we break, we retest, we break, we retest, we break, we retest, right? Now, that's for a downtrend. Obviously, you guys know what it is in the uptrend as well. Because we shifted off into a downtrend, I'm expecting a push up somewhere like around here. So 192.500, just somewhere like around here. And kind of just the reason for that, right, is let me kind of delete some of these eclipses, because they're at the prime of these market structure areas that I'm talking about, right? Right around here, we could see that we were kind of respecting structure, right? If I was supposed to drag this area right around here, and we look from left to right, we were respecting structure up until a certain standpoint. To right around here, right? Making it from body to wick right here, we were maintaining and trying to shoot above, and then we just dropped, right? We just dropped it like it's hot, like I've been saying. And then right around here, where this bottom zone is, right? This was the area to where we should be getting some type of retest to, right? We dropped without a retest. Now, as we go down lower to like our analyzing time frames, you'll see that predominantly in the direction of trend, we may have got a retest, but we haven't actually got a market structure retest. So that's predominantly what I'm prepping us for. As we go down lower from this sequence right around here, you can see we're already on the 2 hour, and you can see just a clean little drop. We had minor retest candles that happened in the direction of trend. You can see, I attempted to take a buy right here and got cooked. Listen, when all this news is happening, don't try to buy. Just flow with it. Whatever structure is, just flow with it. You know what I'm saying? This is only for the experienced at this point in time. If you're not experienced, you got to get in where you fit in, baby. So now that we're on this 1 hour time frame, I want to kind of paint the picture a little bit more better so you guys can understand where it is that I'm looking for this retest and what exactly I'm expecting to happen, right? And keep in mind, I'm really an observer of the market. So the market doesn't owe me anything. The market doesn't have to do anything that I'm saying. But because I'm observing the style of trend that we are currently addressing, I'm assuming that, you know, we're going to continue to flow with this trend. Now, I want to stop it right here as far as for the market structure goes, because we're making market structure right here, which is pretty much valid for me, where we came down right here at these lows, we came, and now it looks like we're almost prepping. So the buys are looking good as long as we can go ahead and break right here. But I know if I'm able to go down lower, I'll be able to see it. Now, as far as for a retest area, I'm going to draw 2 zones within this area, just because the way I have a retest area is appearing, right? It could be any one of these zones. We kind of just want to look out at these targeted areas. You can see if I stretch this over here from left to right, you know, we got some previous data, some previous detail that we could use from over here. But predominantly, once we break here, we should be able to start the uptrend motion. As soon as I switch to the 30-minute, you'll be able to see this beautiful thing called structure a little bit more, which I'm going to kind of pick off with the polyline tool, drawing my structure. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So we came down here. We attempted to get a retest, right? We came, retest, aim, retest, and then we dropped. And then we did all this. So now, finishing it up, we could really see that, hey, we already broke this structure right here to our left previously, right? And now this is our higher high, and this is our potential higher low. Dropping a fib on this, right? We should be at like the 50%. Yep. We could see it right around here. And just kind of going down deeper and explaining that, right? If I was supposed to get this tool right here and draw a line from left to right, this is where buyers took over at the lowest point of the market. We did strive to come down lower. So let me come down lower a little bit. And you can see here that we kind of came back up. We didn't break, but we retested this area and then we kind of pushed off. And then that high that we targeted, which you'll see on the 10-minute here, the same high that we targeted right around here, we targeted over here. So what does that mean? Let me draw it. You guys know I like to illustrate. You guys know I like to draw. If I don't know, you're going to know now, right? We came. And don't worry, I know the colors ain't the most friendliest thing right now because I'm drawing it with the same color, but yeah, I just hold y'all horses. Y'all be able to see. All right, and then we came and made the market structure retest. So let's make this in white. All right, cool. So we'll leave this one for settings. Can we do visual visibility? We'll leave this for we'll say the 15-minute. Cool. So now we can just focus on the white. You can see right around here where I have this main rejection area is where we're kind of rejecting over here. So we kind of did the whole supply and demand spool. You can see that we broke out of here. So really and truly, it was this low that allowed us to break this structure over here, making this high, and then we're retesting right here. So predominantly what I see is throwing out our good friends, the QPs, right? Right around here. And then most importantly, right around here, right? All we need to do is come back down here for a retest. We don't have to because if I look down lower, we've already kind of did in a sense. But if we could come back down here and get some type of retest near the 250, we'll be good. So ideally, this is where I would love to take it from. Right here with some good risk to reward, you know, and just kind of ride it on long. The market can do this, or it could pull back. I won't say we'll pull back too much more, or we could just catch a breakout from right up here as well. So it's really and truly just watching price and seeing what price is striving to do after that, so that way we know where we're going. But I'm expecting some type of retest to this 250 to where markets can do something like along the lines of this. Come from here, and then go up. I would love this predominantly if we can, but if not, I'll just trade what I see. On to the next pair. Goldie. Oof. Goldie with the steep retest. So gold, as you can see, boy, let's just go a little bit higher. Gold, as you can see, overall, we just been in a beautiful days of an uptrend. We've been making these all-time highs, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm just impressed with myself with gold this year, just because whenever I trade gold, I normally just slap it and crush it, and that's just really what it's just been for it this year. Now, you can see that we've mitigated so much more higher, making these all-time highs up here, where you'll see this beautiful zone at, to where we rejected from. That now, we've kind of came back down here at this market structure area. You can see I had the counter trend line waiting for a breakout and all these details. You can see these supply and demand areas based on the lower time frame structures. However, pretty much still holding, so there's not really too much more detail we could possibly view on this, right? Because gold, as you know, like, right, we've been just moving off of this 23.6 and then obviously going to this all-time high, right, all the way up here. Right now, we've kind of come back into this golden zone, if you know, you know, of a retest area to where we're not rejecting and exhausting. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame, you could see right around here, barring this zone. Oops, move that back. I meant to borrow you, my good friend. You can see right around here where we have this lower time frame market structure area, how we kind of came back and made the retest off this area, holding not only the, this is a QP. This is a QP. Let me see, style, text, coordinates. Okay, the 30,000 flat QP, right? We can see that we kind of held this major area, kind of using it as an area of support, kind of coming back down low. You can see that buyers actually took off from this area, giving us some type of engulfing for the buyers. So I see that gold can actually be going long. If we come down here and we look at it on the 20-minute time frame, we can see minor structure that we most recently broken, and boom. You'll notice that every pair, because of the tariff news, kind of just dropped, which is, you know, it happens, it's news. So what I'm expecting is probably like a bounce of something like this, and then we can go up. It doesn't have to come back for this retest, like I said. It would be lovely though. It would be very lovely if we can get some form of a retest and a continuation in our direction of trend. Just give and take, but like these things are all setting up for some sexy ass buys. We'll just say that. So I have the QPs kind of marked off here, the 50, the 30. So like I said, as long as we come back somewhere like around here, we'll be good. I'm going to be looking out for it predominantly because I want to catch that retest so that way we could ride the values up to the upside. But I'm looking at it from anywhere from like around like here. Anywhere from into the zone or whatever the case may be, I'm looking at it from here. Obviously, once the trade is called, stop loss will be accommodated for, and then we can kind of take it and catch our pips from there. But gold is looking like she's going to give some bangers this week, as long as we don't get no motherfucking tariff news. NAS, whew. Y'all can see I had NAS drawn to a science right here. Man, I love NAS, man. NAS has actually been very good to me as of lately. Still getting better, but NAS has been very good. You can see I actually drew the last market structure that I projected with NAS. You can see I had it on top, but you can see kind of did everything to the T, and then the tariff news kind of came out, and then we fell. So NAS is one of them great pairs that, you know, once you kind of know what areas you're moving off of, you're kind of good to go. Now, NAS, yeah. NAS may be the only pair that, you know, may scare me, right? Just because I know where we are market structure-wise, but, like, bro, this tariff news, this is one pair that, like, will definitely drop. Like, definitely drop. And you could just see it just based on me highlighting the next potential drop area if we continue going, and then it gets lower, and then it gets lower, it gets lower. You can see me kind of marking these areas up. And it's just like, bro, this is just a pair that you just want to predominantly just trade what you see. You know what I'm saying? Just trade what you see, B. And right about now, this tariff news has just made us drop so goddamn badly that I don't want to say like I'm telling you, but like obviously we just got to kind of wait with this pair at least and just wait for the markets to stabilize. But we're kind of due for this retest of the zone right here if you see it. Like, right, we just dropped and made a lower low structure, right? And you'll see me refer to everything as structure. Obviously, damn near everything up here is red because of the tariff news. Everything then fucking dropped to infinity and beyond, right? But obviously we're due for a correction from the news, so let's just see how the market treats us, right? Dropping to these goddamn all-time lows that we haven't been since August of 2024, August and May of 2024, dropping. So I really think that we're going to be due for a correction, especially when it comes to this pair. I would wait for some solid rejection areas, right? Because the downtrend is still, however, dominant on these lower time frames, and that's just the perspective that I look at NAS from, right? Like the lower time frame is still pretty much dominant, so we haven't kind of made that ultimate shift as of yet. But what I do expect predominantly is, right, is the trend is your friend, so we have to just wait till we get like a solid break of the structure so that we're kind of good. But we could already see that we're starting to get some exhaustion points. So we just want to make sure that from this exhaustion area that we're getting down here, that these levels are able to hold. But if we could kind of break right around here, we'll be good to go. Looking at it from a QP standpoint, right? Like we got a support area here where we kind of stopped at. We got a halfway point like somewhere like around here. And then obviously we got the area that we need to break, which is basically above here. So if we could kind of make the shift up between these three levels and kind of, again, change the direction of trend to how we see it, we'll be good because obviously the downtrend is downtrending. Now, y'all know Juicy Banks takes the lit entries, but I'm expecting something along the lines of this. And it doesn't have to happen like this to the T, but obviously the target is back up here with these longs. So I just want to kind of be able to see something along the lines of that to where we're kind of transitioning trend and just watching structure respect itself and go long. So predominantly, you know, if we could kind of get it to where we're breaking at least the half point, I would kind of ride the wave up. If not, we're just going to continue trending downwards. So y'all guys know if y'all break this area, I could take the sell and ride it down. But that's pretty much my analysis on everything. Thank you guys so much. I know this one is a little bit more longer, a lot of juicy details, but thank you guys. Thank you guys. Make sure y'all guys use risk management. Make sure y'all guys follow y'all plans. Again, y'all kind of seen my whole total outline of what it comes to what the market's actually looking like from my perspective for this week, but I definitely will be trading what I see. That's for sure. So with that being said, God bless. Y'all guys have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one. Doses and crush it. Hold on. I almost forgot. I know I said bye, but I almost forgot. I got to give y'all guys the outlook of what I perceive as far as for news this week. So hold on. Let's go over news together. All right. Here we are. Obviously, we don't have too much news going on for today. Let's see. Tomorrow, calm. Calm. Okay. Okay. And obviously, I don't trade on Fridays. Okay. So really, the days that we got to look out for are Friday, Thursday, and a little bit of Wednesday. Just a little bit, not too much. So we should be smooth sailing. You know what I'm saying? We definitely should be smooth sailing. Nothing to worry about. Yep. Deuces. Enjoy the week. God bless. And make sure you guys crush it in the markets. Thank you.